Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe. And this week, we're going to be talking about Pokemon evolutions. How you doing, Pepe?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. Pokemon Evolutions is sick. I've already I know that it's been coming out for a while. Like I say, a while, like a few weeks now. Like maybe over a couple
I think
months.
a couple of
Yeah.
months at most.
And as of time of recording, there's 4 episodes out at the moment. But like they're good. They're good little shorts. I like them. Well animated, like all that sort of stuff. Like good story, good like pays. What's the word for it? Uh,
I keep wanting to say homage,
No, yeah,
but
it is like a good. It is that's the thing, isn't it? It's good homage to the stuff. To the original, the stuff, stuffs. The original like sort of source material. There we go. It pays good homage to the source material. Sticks by its roots. Let's put it that way.
yeah. I guess we should explain what evolutions is before we
Nah,
jump that
nah,
far into it.
nah. Go for it.
So evolutions is I want to say animated short. It's not that short. They're about 9 minutes
Yeah,
ish
about 10 minutes.
on
It's
average.
always under 10 minutes
Yeah,
usually. Like,
yeah, like on average about 9 minutes, and they're really well animated. They're animated shorts on the official YouTube channel, official Pokemon YouTube channel, that basically focuses on one prominent character from each generation of Pokemon. So it's not the first time they've done this, but this time they really are specifically just on like one specific character and their story from that generation of Pokemon. Like Pepe's mentioned before, currently there's 4 episodes, and there'll probably only be like 4 more, right? Because what we're on like Gen 8
yeah,
or 9?
we're on Gen 8 at the moment.
Yeah. So it's been out for about 2 months, so we can anticipate it'll probably finish, I don't know, sometime next year. Like Pepe said earlier, they're really, really good. I don't know if people have watched these other animations they've done before, because this is the fourth like set of animations they've done, but they've been killing it on these. Like these, I feel like these are better than any of the animes I've watched for Pokemon.
I'd say so. Like, I feel like that's the thing with Generations because it Evolutions, I should say, because Generations was a series of shorts they put out for Pokemon's 20th anniversary. So they're
Yeah,
doing Evolutions is the stuff they're doing for the 25th. So it's actually I can't believe it's 5 years ago since Generations came out. But
I know, right?
yeah, so they've done Generations, which is like again very similar to Evolutions, where it's they're like about 5 minutes long. These ones, so like they doubled the length for Evolutions, but Generations was like different parts of the story in certain
Yeah,
gens. Yeah,
I was gonna say it was like that one focused more on prominent stories and or characters rather than evolutions only focusing on like the small most important. I don't want to say most important, but like that they focus on one specific character rather than like the overarching story or whatever at
yeah,
the time.
because Generations would like put out maybe like 3 or 4 episodes per gen as well. So
Yeah.
like I remember for Hoenn, for example, they put out one for Team Aqua, one for Team Magma, and then one for Rayquaza versus Deoxys. So that was like a series of ones, but like with Evolutions, they're literally focusing on one gen per episode. So it's keeping it like a bit more concise, but giving
Bit more
doubling length.
focused,
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
yeah, for sure. Like Nathan said, it's focusing on the one character with this, and you do get like side characters popping up as well. So it's not just solely on that one character. You see other characters in it. It's just like sometimes it's from a different viewpoint as well, which is good.
Yeah. It's not always who you'd think based on, at least from the first 2 episodes. And now like the third and fourth one is, you'd think, oh, they're doing that, but actually it's like they focus on different characters, and it was quite interesting.
Yeah,
It is strange to think though that, like you said, generations, they is very similar concept, but generations is also like 20 something episodes or something.
Yeah, it's about 17 because I just literally watched them all before this recording as well, just to refresh my mind on them. But yeah, 17 episodes of Generations. It's quite like they're all like just because they're shorter as well. Like there is a still good amount of story in them, but I felt like the thing is with what I find with Generations and Evolutions is that they do tell the story, but sometimes like they do it from a point where like sometimes the main character, like i.e. you when you play the games, isn't actually in the short at
Me?
all. Yeah, you. Like Nathan himself is in the game. But like the main character like isn't actually like in the short at all. So it's like, say for
Yeah.
example, in Generations there's Maxie's story. Maxie? No, Archie, the Team Aqua guy. He is like, it's basically how he awakens Primal Kyogre, and then it just goes wild and then starts like making like mad shit go on like in the sea and stuff, and that absolutely destroys the world. But you don't see like a resolution to it. You just see like the mad shit that goes on. Like, so it's just like Kyogre fucking shit up, and then that's it. So there isn't always like a resolution to the story. Sometimes it's just like, okay, he's just like Archie's dead now. That's what it is. Sometimes
I mean,
it's
like,
that like.
to that point though, of oh, there's the main characters and all that. I think it's because they don't want to have people assume that by having a character model appear that that's the canon character. You know what I mean? Because everybody's always like, oh, what's canon? And it's like, well, technically nothing is. For Pokemon, technically nothing is and everything is.
I mean, as well, like with focusing on those, like sometimes focusing on the villains or the side characters, you can tell a better story with that, because obviously, like they actually speak. For one, like you know that these characters have personalities, so you can actually form a story around that. So if they focus the story around Red, for example.
Oh, what? You're telling me you can't make a story around a kid who's just stands there and doesn't say anything,
I
but people
mean,
talk
not
at
without
him?
giving him a personality, which is what they did with Origins.
Yeah, they did. And Origins was sick as well. That was like the OG one.
So Origins was like a 4-episode anime, and like the episodes would be about 20 minutes each, and they just basically show Red's journey along the way. Like they'd show like, what was it, his first gym battle against Brock, for example, and that would go into detail or whatever. But then like when it comes to other gym leaders, they'll make it like about a 20-second segment or something. They'll skip across certain parts of it, so you're not seeing his full journey.
Yeah, just what they consider the most prominent parts.
Yeah, so like that was, I remember the first episode was basically his first gym battle and getting his Pokemon and stuff. The second one was I feel like it was when he went to Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji? No, oh my god, Mr. Fuji. Well, that would be a completely different side of the story, wouldn't it? Red goes to Mount Fuji in Japan. He just goes to like a completely different region. Technically, like Kanto is part of Japan, I guess. But or something.
Could you imagine he just turns up this kid with these like magical animals? Konnichiwa. Watashi wa red desu.
Yeah.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Oh my days.
Or even worse, they're just like, what's up with this kid? And he just stands there quietly looking at him like blank faced and everything, just looking at people.
This fucking tangent right now. Back to what I was saying. It's the whole stuff with the Lavender. Is it Lavender Tower? The
Yes.
big graveyard, like in Lavender Town.
Yeah, the most inefficient graveyard I'd ever think design.
Yeah. Oh god, it's multi-story graveyard.
Well, yeah, because like like if it's for dead Pokemon, right? Even if they're not buried there and you're just putting a gravestone,
Yeah.
like, does that mean you're just going to infinitely build up and then eventually go underground and stuff? Like, I know Pokemon faint, quote unquote, but like they clearly die because that's established by the tower existing.
In second generation, didn't they get rid of the tower and just put a radio station there instead?
Yeah, they did.
That's one way to get rid of a graveyard.
Yeah, but then the question is like, what happened to all the the graves. I guess this is a bit too morbid for Pokemon.
Arguably, there is like a big ocean next to Lavender
Oh
Town,
God,
so
no,
I can only assume that they chucked away all the remnants of dead Pokemon into the sea. But anyway, Pokemon
no.
Origins. You don't see that in Pokemon Origins, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so it's all a big story about first gen Pokemon. First episode is about his gym battle. Second episode is about him taking down Team Rocket in Lavender Town. I believe the third episode is about like sort of facing off against Giovanni, and then I think there's a bit of like where he fights Blue in it as well, like when Blue comes champion.
Yeah, I think so. Because the last episode is when they're like Mega Evolution, because that was a big thing at the time,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah.
that's when he fights Mewtwo, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, and then that's like that kind of wraps it all up in a bow. Like, could be wrong with that. They could be like,
No, I'm pretty
it's
sure the
just,
last episode is
yeah.
against Mewtwo, because that's where
Oh,
Charizard,
it definitely
Mega
is. Yeah.
Charizard X comes up.
But like there might have been like crossovers, like the Elite Four battle and taking down Blue might be in
Maybe,
the first
but
half of that last
I
episode.
don't
It's all
remember.
big mix.
I just remember the second
Yeah.
half is definitely that fight, because that's when like that was at least I think at the time the first time you saw Mega Charizard.
Yeah,
like,
because
animated.
what happens? So Red becomes champion. Oak gives him the Mega things. The what marble? Not marbles. They are marbles, aren't they?
They're stone. They call them
Stones.
stones, but
They look
yeah.
like marbles. Let's face it.
they look like
marbles.
like normal marbles that you would get in the shop or like played with as a kid.
Yeah, so he gets the Mega Marbles, and then he goes off. He literally fills up the whole Pokedex, and then he's like, "Oh wait, I need to get this last Pokemon, and it's Mewtwo." So he goes into Cerulean Cave and then fights him. Yeah, Charizard goes Mega Evolution, and then yay! Basically, that's
Charizard
the
finally
end of it.
becomes a real dragon, and
Yeah, true, that's it. And yeah, but like back to what we were saying though, I thought like Origins was fantastic as an anime. I love that.
the thing is, like I mentioned it earlier, but like seriously, all of the animations they've done are really good, and I think it's because they're shorter and they're on YouTube, so there's like probably it feels like it's more actually hand animated. It sounds stupid to say that, but you know, like I guess because the episodes that are on the normal anime, they have to make so many of them and so many people are involved. There's less like special effects and stuff in it, because that's one thing I noticed in all of these animations is like, yes, it's cleaner. The art styles look different, a little more like computer hand drawn, like digital arty than some of the animes. But it's these effects that they layer on top. It just feels more like raw animation, like more internet animation. It's really hard to describe, as you can tell from my piss poor attempt at doing so.
Yeah, it's kind of like for a fact that with these shorts though they have like an animation style, and obviously like with the TV anime and stuff they have their animation style as well, but like they have to follow like obviously it's a bigger overarching story as well. They're following like a 20-minute episode, for example, and it's a series as well, so they've got to manage to make their time really well with that. Whereas with these ones, I imagine they're all commissioned. For example, this one is we've got to animate 8 episodes of this. They got to be 10 minutes long. You can put a lot more time and effort into that, and given a certain deadline for it, you're like, okay, sorted. Obviously, the Pokemon anime just keeps going. That's the thing with the Pokemon anime, like the one with like Ash in it or Satoshi, whoever you want to go for it. Like that is a continuous thing, and it has been for a while. Whereas this is like, okay, look, here's a set amount of episodes. Let's absolutely smash out the park. Here's a story for it, sorted. With these, like, there's so much love and care put into them. The animation is fantastic. Like, you get like sometimes it's like, oh, you're looking into the lore of Pokemon a bit more from. You get like some sort of clues or whatever. But like, yeah, we haven't mentioned Twilight Wings yet as well.
No, we haven't. So Twilight Wings came out. Was it before or alongside Sword and Shield?
So it kind of launched alongside Sword and Shield. So like towards the end of 2019.
Twilight Wings has its own sort of like mini story arc. I guess you could say it's like your typical TV or like TV show. It's got an A story and a B story. The A story is like about this kid who's in the hospital and he wants to see Leon fight in the league. He wants to go to a match because that's his dream. And the B stories in each episode are about one of the gym leaders of the region. And it just sort of introduces them and what they're about. And it was interesting because like we said, this launched alongside the game. So you may or may not have met these characters by the time the episodes came out. They already had their own personalities, but now you get to see more of these characters and what they do outside of being a gym leader. Like I remember the episode with B, the fighting gym leader, and it's her and all her fighting Pokemon like went out into the wild to try and train, and then like because she was being reckless because she was trying to like compare herself to Leon and Raihan, Raihan and all the like top competitors that like they got trapped in a cave in or something, and it's just stuff like that.
It's like, yeah, it's giving like the gym leaders a bit like their own stories in a way. Like, because obviously in the games you will see them for about, what was it, 5 minutes when you fight them,
Yeah,
and then maybe you see him again at the end when you challenge him again for the like wherever the like Elite Four equivalent is for this game. But the thing I loved about Twilight Wings is that it is an original story as well. It is all focused around Gala, which is nice. Like that's cool. Like it's basically promotion for the game, which is fine. But then like I didn't realize. Then you got like what's always prominent in it is the taxi driver with his Corviknight.
yeah, that's the thing. They always focus on Corviknight.
Yeah, I guess that's why they call it Twilight Wings, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like, just with Gala stuff in general, they always like to remind you, like, they use Corviknight taxis.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's basically like you like he's always prominent in it, so it's always like, here's the Corviknight delivering this person to this place, and then obviously that story kicks off from there. Because I think my favorite episode actually of Twilight Wings was like surprisingly, I don't care for the character that much, but it's Hop and his Wooloo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but basically because I absolutely love Wooloo as a Pokemon. It's just so round. Like you can look back at our Pokemon tier list videos, and like you know for a fact I love a round Pokemon. I love a round boy.
okay. Do you have to even? It's not the tier list. Just listen to anything.
It's
Like
very true.
them brown boys that are like fluffy or like I don't even know, man. You just
Even then, like when Wooloo was announced, it was like it was loved by everyone in the community.
yeah. I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Like it became a meme at that point, like, and then it evolves into Double, and no one likes it anymore. But but no, like I obviously love that because it was so cute. The Wooloo was like really cute and stuff, and it was I know that's all I cared about. The story was alright. I don't care for Hop that much because I don't really care for Hop as a character.
I don't think many people do, but
Yeah, but like the Wooloo was cute, and it was like I did enjoy it. Like at the end of the episode, and he bonds with him and stuff. But no, it's a cute little episode. And that's what I do like about Twilight Wings as well. Like, obviously, this isn't tied in. Like, there are some bits that's tied into the game itself, but like all of Twilight Wings felt original.
yeah.
Like, so you're not like viewing stuff that you're in the game, like that's in the game already. Whereas,
It
yeah,
almost feels like anything at that time around Gala would have been original because we knew absolutely nothing about it. We only had the games. I don't even think the anime started for that part yet. It was all like fresh and new, and they didn't have to do an animated series, like on YouTube. They could have just left you to it to find your lore, but they didn't, and I appreciate that, to be fair, because whilst it had that whole wholesome aspect, it did really like flesh out a lot of these characters for you.
yeah, it gave him a bit more personality, really, innit? And I think that's good about it as well. I think like the reason why they kept it to original story as well, I imagine, is because it's launching alongside the game. You can't really give many spoilers out either.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. So I'm glad, like, because that's the thing. Like, spoiler alert for Sword and Shield, if anyone hasn't played it yet. It's been out for 2 years now. What are you doing for one? But obviously, Chairman Rose is one of the main villains in it, and in this, he's strictly like there's a little foreshadowing of him being a sort of evil guy. But or villain as they're called. But like throughout the whole series he is like genuinely like it comes across as a nice guy after time, Obviously, because they can't reveal in the like in this like little short at a time that like he's evil. Like you can't launch this alongside the game and then say, "Oh, there you go. Here's your villain," because it is technically a twist in the game. So, but yeah, no, I thought it was all good. The last episode is sort of all about the kind of focuses on the aftermath of the story, though. Like that's episode 7, I believe, where they focus on Isle of Armor
Yeah.
and like because you see Mustard in it.
Voiced by Sung-won.
Yes, one of our favorite
Or
YouTubers.
ProZD, yeah.
Yeah. Now shout out to him, I guess. Not that he needs it.
Yeah. But you know, we appreciate dude.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a sum up of Twilight Wings. We've done Origins, kind of touched on Generations a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love we've gone through every other one and we've only explained about like briefly about the actual thing we were here to talk about. Man, cultured boys, man, we good at this.
It's all tied in together. It's like kind of like a big like umbrella, really, isn't it? Of like internet shorts and like original Pokemon stories that is
At least
anime.
this way you made it easier to segue. Like, because if you had left it at Origins, I'd be like, so anyway, Pokemon anime. Like, at least she was like, so the one about Gala, and now I'm like, cool, that links to the first episode of Evolutions.
First, yeah, it literally does link in really well, especially like when you compare the two as well.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, Twilight Wings has its own story, and it feels like the animation is a lot more like smooth in a way. I don't know. I feels like that's the wrong word for it.
See, I would have said Twilight Wings, in a sense, to me, was a little more raw. In like, it's not got so many of the like digital shines and stuff.
That's probably what more I'm getting off of it.
Like, because Evolutions, again, whilst it does have that sort of more raw style, it is very polished.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is the words I'm looking for.
It's got like it's got more of that computer generated like shine and sheen to it, whereas Twilight Wings, all of that stuff is like a hand drawn effect. It's not computer generated, or doesn't look computer generated for the most part. Because the first episode of Evolutions focuses on Leon, but specifically, again, spoilers for the Sword and Shield game, it focuses on Leon thinking about what happened just before the Pokemon League fight, because that's the fight with Eternatus, and Leon's supposed to be the strongest at that point. You know, the undefeated champ. Everybody knows Leon, but that's the first time he's ever been beaten down, essentially, and lost. And it's just before he prominently loses to you, the protagonist.
Me?
Yes, you, Pepe. He loses to you. You're now the champion of Galar. So I hope you're
bow before me.
I hope
you
you're
thought
happy.
Chairman Rose was evil.
I hope you're happy because you've made Leon depressed. Okay.
Good. He's too much enthusiasm, that guy.
He did before this episode. It's actually kind of weird to see.
It's like basically like him contemplating like whatever, like as you said, the moments before the match, and then like he like talks to his Charizard, and the Charizard's like, "Hey, fucking get out there!" And then the Charizard's like, or like they go out together, and they're like, "Yes, go for it."
But
like,
the weirdest thing I found in this episode, right, is in the game, your character and Hopper are only about 11 years old, right? And Leon's his older brother, indiscriminate amount of time, right? But we can assume, based off of the game, like imagery, he's probably only about 20-ish. So why in this animated short did he look way fucking older than that?
See, this is what I was like getting at before. Like when you compare like Leon's designs in Twilight Wings and this one side by side, Leon looks like in his late 20s here.
Leon looks like he's fucking like mid-30s, and he's been around and he's seen some shit, and he did see some shit.
Gave me like some like JoJo vibes going on there. Like it's all like you can see like I don't know, the whole cheekbone sort of thing. Like this guy had been eating, he bulking up. What's he been doing?
I mean, again, it kind of makes sense that he would look a bit like ragged because he was sitting there remembering the fight with Eternatus, and if it's based off of the game timeline, you basically do that and then go almost instantly into the Pokemon League. You know, like there's very little time has passed, maybe a few days at most. So like, I get that Leon would look a little like under the weather, a little more like
Yeah.
aged, but not that far. Like if he's at most, let's say 21, right? Early 20s. There he looked like he was fucking at least 35. Like
I think it's like partly the animation style as well. Like they want to make it look a bit more, as you said, like polished, like realistic-y kind of thing.
also my only other gripe about just the Pokemon animations in general is they don't try to get voice actors who have any semblance of the accent that those areas are
The
based off of.
regional thing, yeah.
Like, because Galar is supposed to be England or Great Britain, right?
Yeah.
The UK. And yet, there is no UK accent in there.
It would be good to have that representation and that sort of thing, like actual like English representation, because it's clear from the whole Galar region that it's based off England
Yeah.
or
And
the
like,
UK.
we know
And
that Leon is Hop's older brother, and we know based off of the way that Galar's set out, that means that your character or the main character and Hop and Leon are essentially from around Scotland or a facsimile of that, right? So why has he got no accent? Why does he sound American? Why do they all sound American?
yeah, it's just a thing where they've just clearly just gone for like that. Oh, let's just go a whole overarching like American accent sort of vibe. However, though, if you do look at Pokemon Masters, the Galar gym leaders and like champion and all that sort of stuff in those games, obviously they have voiceover, but majority of the characters are actually have regional accents. So like Nessa and Leon, the two characters I know that I've got from Galar, they actually have English accents in that app.
I don't understand the choice. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's just strange. And I get it, whatever, it's their choice. They do what they want. But it would be nice to see it. I'm not saying, go stupid heavy, like stereotypical of every region. Yeah, like I'm not saying, oh, when you get down to Wyndon, where's all the Cockneys and friggin' where's their heavy
Yeah,
Scottish accent and all the in betweens? Where's all
yeah.
the Brummies and
The
Geordies?
OR.
Yeah, and
Where's me Wooloo?
yeah, where's the West Country and all the Scousers? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying get
Scousers.
I'm not saying get every single accent and put
Yeah,
it
yeah.
super heavy stereotypical. And the same for every other region. I'm not saying go and get like the most stereotypical like Hawaiian sounding person. Like,
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
a little bit of something, like besides their appearance and your knowledge of the franchise, like.
I mean, like Pokemon representation with their characters has been getting better. I feel.
Yeah, but that's only
Um,
visually.
Visually, yeah, it's true. Like they still that. I think everyone could do if there's some improvements, but it's fair. Like I completely agree with you there. Like seeing like some sort of English representation, or like for example in Kalos, where if there was like some French accents or whatever. Granted, they'd be like speaking English still. So
I mean, they did
yeah.
try a little bit ish, because I swear there were some animations where what's the professor of that region?
Oh, Sycamore.
Yeah, he has like sometimes I swear I've heard him with a French-ish accent,
Probably,
like a
yeah.
light one.
Um,
Again, not like
yeah.
super heavy. Like I don't know what he's saying because you know it's too
Like
heavy
again
of an
in
accent.
I know I'm keep going back to Pokemon Masters, but the first gym leader, the one with the camera, I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
She has a French accent in the app as well. So it depends on who
who?
like
Yeah, I
what.
guess who the
Yeah,
voice director is, but like
yeah,
it would just be nice, And and again, I don't want it to come across like, oh, we're just complaining, because we're British and we want to just hear the British accents. Like, no, we want to hear like all of them.
yeah. I mean, that's arguably it does. Like we like because we're British, we probably do want to see that a bit more. Like obviously because we know that it's based around here, and we'd know it more of like
Well,
just I don't know.
there's that, but also like, I wanted to be a voice actor, like most people, and I would just like to hear it. I like
Yeah,
hearing accents,
yeah.
I like trying to learn
Mm.
accents and like to just hear it also helps your immersion, It makes you believe more that, oh, that is that region of the world.
Mm.
Or like that's
Yeah,
Pokemon's version of that place. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
But anyway, moving on from the first episode.
Yeah.
The second episode focuses on Lily and Cosmog from Sun and Moon. More specifically, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon,
Yeah, because
because
this is all based on the Necrozma
yeah,
line, isn't it? Yeah.
and Lily's mum is like way more harsh than I remember her being.
She is quite hard. Like, that's the thing. I think in the games, obviously, it's not voice acted or anything, so it's literally just dialogue you're reading, and obviously she's quite harsh in that. But in this, like, obviously, it's voice acted a lot more. And then she's like, "Oh, disappearing. I've taken your Cosmog and
It's
doing
not
this
even that.
stuff."
She has one line where she's straight up like, "I don't have any children."
yeah,
You know, like she just straight up
yeah.
like like disowns her, like denounces her there and then, and you're like, bruh, that's harsh. You know, she's like, mum, like, come on, come to your senses. Yeah, she's like, you know, Lily's trying to get her mum to come to senses, and she's just straight up like, I don't have any children.
Yeah, but in the whole in that story, I can't remember what was the character's name again. The mum.
I never knew how to pronounce it. It's like Luzamine or
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah, losing me or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not. You know, she's one of those characters in it, that goes a bit twisted at the end of it. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I
I
get that,
can.
but again, it's just like it's so harsh to hear it and see it animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Again, like I think this animation is cool or whatever, but like I don't know, I don't feel like it got a good ending. It's like it goes back to the point I was saying earlier. Obviously, these are shorts, and you won't be able to do a full fleshed out story. But like it kind of ends abruptly,
Yeah,
and
but
it like doesn't
it's
get you don't get a
also
resolution to it. But I'm not. This isn't me bitching about it at all. I still really appreciate the episode, but for me, like compared to the other three, I think this one's the weakest in my opinion.
I agree, but at the same time, like it can't go further than where it was because it placed itself explaining sort of like the key point of the story of the entire game and then finishes just before essentially the last part of the game. Because
Yeah,
like for those who haven't finished Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, again, spoilers, but you've had plenty of time to play it.
from 2017.
Yeah, so
yeah,
like Necrozma comes out, Lunala fights with Necrozma, then they fuse. And I mean, that shouldn't have happened straight away, but like Lunala should have come back to you, if I remember correctly, so that you could go through the wormhole, go to the other side, and then Necrozma would have become that giant, like glowing light version. And that's
Hmm.
like the final boss fight,
But
essentially.
then in this, the main character kind of steps in, and you can kind of see him like sort of going up against the Necrozma. So
But also, like, there's one point in the episode where my brain couldn't comprehend. It's when they go to stand on the little platforms to play the flutes, right? And you know it's
yeah,
surrounded by water, and then she like takes one step, and I'm like, "What is this
yeah.
weird gelatin fucking water
Yeah,
thing? What
yeah,
is this? What is this
yeah.
weird slime
I was
water?"
thinking about that. I don't know, ancient water. I guess it's been sat in that little pool for a while now.
like,
It's how water works, isn't
like I
it?
thought they were just gonna like, oh, okay, they're just gonna trudge through, you know, like through this water,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it like solidifies somewhat under her
There,
foot,
there was no
and
reason for it. There was no reason
I
for
know
it.
it's such a
They could
weird
have easily just
detail.
had normal, like shallow water that would have been fine.
Yeah, or like,
But
oh,
no,
now our shoes are wet because it's like ankle
exactly,
deep or
yeah. But
something.
when you're trying to like rescue a Cosmog and like summoning like ancient Pokemon or whatever, getting your feet wet isn't really that much of an issue.
Yeah, but instead there was like no weird
Yeah.
magical jelly water, like.
Yeah, that was strange. And the fact, like, I was thinking this as well. Like, obviously, this is just me being critical. If I was given a flute and I had to summon an ancient Pokemon, I wouldn't know what the fuck I'm playing. They played them flutes really well. Like both of them played
I know,
flutes.
right? But like that's
I'd be awful at that. I'd just be there, like you know, like the really shit version of Titanic theme tune played on a flute. That'd be me. Like, I'd be awful at it. Like, fair play, they absolutely smashed it. They must have really gone hard on the recorder classes in school over in Alola.
I don't know, but like it's like that in the game as well. Like you just get this flute. It's always like that in the games, like you know, like even in the first one, where it's like poker flute, and I'm like, I wouldn't know how to play that.
Nah. Princess Snorlax would just get up because like, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Learn how to play the flute properly. That's how he'd wake up. He's not waking up from anything else.
Mate, you'd be lucky if the Snorlax woke up and not a bunch of people like storming out of their houses coming up to you like, will you shut the fuck up with the fucking stupid? Do you know what I mean? Like,
people in Lavender Town coming over like, just keep the creepy music. I don't want that. Whatever that is, keep it away.
Yeah, put the seizure music back on. None of this shit.
Put the seizure music back on.
Yeah, that's what it was. Don't you remember?
Yes, yeah, I heard these things. But yeah, as again what I said, out of the 4 episodes that are out so far at the time of this recording, that's probably the weakest one. So
I don't know. I would have put the second and third one sort of on the same level. I wasn't a big fan of the third one myself either.
Okay, yeah. So moving on to the third one, it's from X and Y, and it focuses on Lysander. And I don't know. Watching this and rewatching Generations side by side, I kind of forgot how I never felt like they got across in the games how deep Lysander was. It felt in the games it was just like, yeah, this guy that just wants to kill everyone.
Yeah, and it was in the game. It was more under the pretense of he was like, I want to make everything beautiful and fashionable. Whereas this, it was like, no, he's actually got some sort of reason, and it's sort of weirdly philosophical.
Yeah, like he doesn't want he likes the beauty of this world, but he doesn't want it to change.
Yes,
and he feels like as things change more and more, he's gonna dislike it. So that's why he wants to basically freeze or like just end whatever's going on right now. Yeah, I don't remember Lysander being that deep of a villain, but apparently he was.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, strangely.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with you. Like, I think maybe there's a bit of nostalgia playing for me in this episode because X and Y aren't really my favorite games out of the whole Pokemon series.
Fair enough.
But like I do kind of maybe appreciate the nostalgia that came from watching these episodes. Like just looking back on X and Y. Yeah, as I said, there wasn't much to it. It just is basically Lysander's backstory a little bit, or not even that. It's just about his plan.
Yeah, but at the same time, I appreciate that they chose him specifically because, like, I feel like in X and Y, there are other characters and other stories you could have focused on, but I think they picked the right one. You know, the one we had I don't want to say the least, but probably like the worst explanation for.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe there's just enough wiggle room for a story to come through there a little bit. I don't know. It didn't feel like there was much in this one in terms of like action work, especially when you compare it to the previous episode. Although I did say like the Alola episode was probably my least favorite. However, like the fight scene between Lunala and Necrozma was quite cool.
Yeah, it was quite cool, but like I think the most action took place in the first episode.
Yeah, definitely. But with this one, it was decent. I didn't think there was that much of a problem with it. I'd be happy. It's one that probably wouldn't be my favorite one, but I don't think it's my like I don't know, the one I'd like the least. Let's put it
Again,
that way.
like it's not that these are all bad, you know, like they are
of course not.
They're all still really good. It's just, you know, in everything, you know, you have the weaker ones that you personally
like you have your
feel,
favorites and stuff. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm not saying any of these are bad at all, but far from it. But I feel like if I was to put them in order, I'd say that would be like this would probably be the lower half of it, but it's still good. Still good.
See,
I'm not gonna hate on it.
In my opinion, the 4th episode and the last one as the time of recording is a better version of what the 3rd one was trying to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the 4th one focuses on how N becomes like affiliated with Team Plasma, and it's really Gatesis who's narrating the whole thing. It's kind of more about Gates's plan, but I feel like it was the same concept as the 3rd episode, but done better.
Yeah, and you see a bit more in this as well. Like you see, because in this one you see N versus the champion Alder.
Yeah,
I think it's
Alder.
Alder. Yeah. And all makes Order look like a bitch, man.
It does. But then, come on, like,
Yeah,
N's turning up with a fucking Zekrom, and
yeah.
what the fuck has Older got? Oh, he's got a Volcarona. Like,
Still arguably quite still a good Pokemon, but
yeah,
yeah,
but
I
I
can
mean,
understand.
like, if you're comparing the two, I know definitely who I pick to win. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
giant
you got to.
electric fucking black dragon rather than the fucking flaming moth.
Yeah, flaming moth is that. But yeah, like I think N is kind of like a fan favorite character as well throughout the whole series. I went for years hating on Black and White because I thought, oh no, this isn't as good as some of the other ones. And then like looking back at it now, like that is a fleshed out story
Yeah.
in Pokemon
I
Black and White.
The thing is, I think Black and White was the first time they actually, at least personally, I felt like they had an actual sort of story they wanted to tell for
Oh,
Pokemon, which is really
100%.
weird because
Yeah.
normally Pokemon is just the journey. You know, it's you
Yeah.
becoming the champion, and whatever else happens is just sort of like, you know, what happens in the region. But like Black and White felt like the first time they really, really wanted to push this thing. Like, no, the world outside in which you explore in those games actually has life, and something is happening. There's a larger world out there.
I think they gave out like they read the villains really well. Like there's more complex villains in these
Yeah, and
games onwards. To be
I
fair,
think
yeah,
that's why Black and White is often a lot of people's favorites.
I can understand that. I need to go back. I would love to go back and play it again.
Well, give it time.
I
I
was waiting
mean,
for
we're
the thing.
getting.
I'll give. Yeah, I agree. They'll make remakes
I
eventually.
was gonna say we're getting Diamond and Pearl. Give it a few more years. We'll
Yeah,
probably
we'll get
have
there.
because they're the next ones.
Whatever next gen console ends up happening to be, we'll get on that.
Yeah, most likely. But
Yeah.
yeah, this one was like seriously, I really liked this one because you get to learn more about N, but also it's not from the angle you would want. Like at first, I thought the whole episode was just going to be N and his story, but like he was going to tell it. But no, it's how, and this is going to sound really bad, but it's accurate. But it's how essentially Gates is like grooms him to
Yeah, it's all the
be,
manipulation
yeah.
aspect of it. Yeah.
But it sounds so wrong to say Gates has found this kid who's like really in tune to Pokemon, like really, really in tune, and grooms him. Like you never want to say an adult picks up a kid, you know. I mean, I'm just gonna stop there. I'm just stop there. But
Yeah. But I completely get what you mean. But that's what, like we were saying, it's all that it's a complex villain. They gave this villain like an actual like idea of what he wanted to do, and it's all that manipulation that Gethys does. And you see that coming through in the animation. You've seen it come through in the games, but probably not to this scale. Like you know that it happens,
yeah,
and you know that N is obviously a complex guy. But this is like how you see the journey or whatever. You see like N's like sort of internal struggle as well in this.
yeah,
Yeah, you see like when Team Plasma are doing their speech or whatever to all the people. You see like N's reaction when he looks over to the main character and sees a Tepig there, and like you see him like a bit like emotional. Like there's complexity there.
yeah.
That's the word I'd take like give to this thing. I'll go keep on using it. Complex.
No, but you're right because it is. It's like that game. It's the issues presented are kind. It is kind of complicated, like in a sense that like people would want Pokemon rights if they were like if this was the real world, you know, people would argue for like Pokemon rights, but at the same time, some people would be like, you got to free these animals so that they can live.
It is like the like equivalent of like Peter in a way.
Yeah, but like it only makes it's a little more complicated because at the same time in the Pokemon universe, it's like, yeah, but like humans and Pokemon live side by side and have like a symbiotic relationship, you know? Like
Mm.
they work together, so you can't really necessarily be like free all the Pokemon because it's like, you know, in every group, yeah, there are bad people. Evil exists and evil will always exist, but like not everybody's evil. It's got Black and White somehow makes everything too philosophical.
It's true. That's like it. I think that's a good thing about Black and White though. Like when you compare it to some of the previous villains that literally just wanted to either steal Pokemon
For
or
their own
like
gain,
like
or
yeah for their own gain. This was like there was this like angle where it's like, hey, let's free the Pokemon, but while using them at the same time to
Yeah.
battle. So technically their ideals are a little bit skewed.
It is, but like on the surface, it's you know, it's like, oh, we're doing this for the betterment of the world, even though it's really like, no, because once all your Pokemon are released, we're gonna steal them and we're gonna take over the
Yeah.
world.
Exactly, yeah. That's the whole thing of it. Like, but no, it's good. I like Black and White. I like Black and White 2 even more. I think Black and White 2 is like where those games really
Yeah,
came into their stride.
but at the same time, like it is all the same generation, so
It is, yeah. So
Black and
gotta
White
appreciate
2,
all of it,
like
really.
Black
yeah.
and White 2, I think in terms of the story was less interesting than the first one.
You think? Okay.
I think in terms of if you had to animate it, you know.
Oh yeah, completely. Like I know. I feel like some of it needs context as well. Black and White, yeah, it's an easy one to tell a
Like,
story for.
yeah, well, because like what they did was like perfect, right? Whereas if they was like, oh, actually, we were going to have one for Black and White 2 and one for Black and White, the story in 2 really is just Gatsus is trying again
Yeah.
without end this time, though, you know, and I feel like it's less interesting or less of a compelling story to tell than how he essentially like misled the world.
I get you. Like, I think if you're gonna do one per gen as well, you can just jump straight into Black and White 2 either.
Yeah.
Like, it feels a bit random.
To
if
be
you just
fair,
did
if the
that,
next
but
episode wasn't going to be Diamond and Pearl and was like Black and White 2, I'd be like, yeah, I guess that makes sense because you do need context from the first one before you do the second one. It wouldn't make sense to do it the other way around. I really do encourage people, anyone who's listening, to go and watch these shorts, like wherever you can find them. Obviously, support the official release. I'm not telling you to go and do something you shouldn't do, but like seriously, go out and seek these. If you're a fan of this franchise and you're a fan of lore, or even just like tidbits of info, these are perfect for you. They just sprinkle out little bits. They expand the world a little bit, but it's not necessarily canon.
if you go on the Pokemon channel, there's a playlist and it has all of these shorts in them, like minus Origins, obviously.
Yeah.
But they have Evolutions, Generations, and Twilight Wing, so definitely check them out through there.
Yes, please do. And honestly, I hope that the Pokemon Company keep doing stuff like this because I really enjoy it. And I think it's really good for the franchise.
100%. Like, it just feels like a bit more fleshed out. You know that like Pokemon in general is a whole multimedia thing right now. And they like these shorts have like done the series justice, like especially if you love the games, like it's great. But yeah, have you got anything else to say on Pokemon Evolutions, etc.?
No, nothing that I haven't already said. Again, one last reminder, please go check it out. Just go and find it. And with that, the usual spiel, here it comes. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notified when our next videos are out, and check us out on podcast platforms. If you didn't hear in the last episode, we're on Apple Podcasts now, so we're finally on all the major podcast platforms. Go check us all out. I put the links in the description all the time. I really do. And that's it from Nate. That's enough shilling for me.
Nice one. What he basically said, I'm just going to echo that. Nice one. I'll catch you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.